What? I have another copy. Take it. Take, I have money. I don't know whether it works or not. Execute. Oh. Are you teaching modern area? Yeah. Ma'am, can you start the homecoming? Yeah, you want to start homecoming? Yes, ma'am, our teacher started it today and I said that the vocabulary test and this one. Okay. You take course writing, right? Yes. What about you, Adam? I'm having a man book right? You school में मैम ऑलिवर आम सब नोटिस कर रहे हैं उसके बाद देसी चल रहे थे Yesterday I took the extra lecture of it afternoon simple. Okay. हाँ मेरा भी कल afternoon simple पे टेस्ट है हाँ full notes. Huh? Which one? What happened? How was the paper? No. What questions came? Ma'am, mainly the questions were of they were easy questions. Oh, I'm asking what question? What exact question I remember. They have brought the question paper? No, they don't give the question paper. How did you study? Very study. Volume. Me. When the volume. Huh? When the volume. Let's get some job of volume. एक volume नहीं है मेरे पास मेरे पास है नहीं है और घर पे मिल गया हमारा और क्या नेक्स्ट क्लास है बेटा मैंने कल अटेंड कर ली क्लास मैं बाहर था स्कूल का ट्रिप था मैं बाहर हम लोग को ना स्नोवे ले गए थे स्कूल के ट्रिप में पहले चलो टेक आउट we have another thing. Then I am using it for something. Okay. So, what is going on in your school? Ma'am, we are started with the reviews. After, okay, now those institute according to institute figure modern related, but that's just saying that as homecoming as well. Homecoming in your school. Ma'am, in my classes, they had started ninth grade, which they are finished. Yeah. And they had, I think, finished 2 days the right class. Okay. That means after modern millionaire, we have done it in 7. You told me that. We finished advance simply we finished that doctor's general entry and now managed the whole thing. Ma'am at school, my teacher has completed Act 1 and she said you do Act 2 by yourselves. Sorry? You do Act 2 by yourselves, ma'am said. You completed Act 1. Do Act 2 by yourself. Do Act 2 by yourself. Self-study. You are from Goldcrest, right? The Goldcrest teacher doesn't know it, I know it. I know that. Ma'am, she is a bit ego. अरे देना उससे सर खड़े कब से? Ma'am, she also biology teacher and she was studying biology. And one of her first students started writing another note. And she got angry and said the chapter is complete. So obviously you don't listen to her. Ma'am. And that because of her today I have to give check from the importance of bacteria test. Okay. Chalo, homecoming. This is a very beautiful story about a village boy. it's a very simple story. It's a short story. It's quite short, but it's very emotional. And it is an open-ended short story. Now, what do we mean by open-ended? You can conclude yourself what exactly happens to the boy later. We can only guess, but clearly nothing is mentioned that whether the boy dies or he lives. This homecoming. But we don't get to know that, but it's open-ended. So you interpret according to your wish. Okay? So let us start. Azam, you will read about the author.
About the author, Rabindranath Tagore, 1861 to 1942, was a Bengali poet, writer, playwright, composer, philosopher, social reformer, and painter, who won Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. In the homecoming, we have the universal themes of adolescence, neglect, responsibility, love, and isolation. The story is narrated in the third person by unnamed narrator. It is the story of कोई narrator नहीं है ना जैसे जैसे एग्जांपल के लिए शेरलॉक होम्स में और narrator होता है ना यहाँ पे कोई narrator नहीं है.
Yes, it is not with I. It is with the third person.
Whose body is mystery leads to his being sent away to Kolkata to liberate uncle. Tagore writes in the heart of the reader, pierces the heart of the reader with the deception of depiction of homesickness, rejection, and isolation. The boy is longing to return to the wide open spaces of his village home. Is metaphorically granted in the poetic mythology behind the story. Closing बोला.
Okay. What's the title?
And the last line echoes this longing.
Okay, now it's a very beautiful and emotional piece of writing where we see that he was a village boy. Patik Chakravarti, he was a village boy and he is raised in a village in the open spaces, in the open fields. Now, because of his naughtiness, led him to his aunt's place in Calcutta. So there, his aunt was not very good at him. She thought him to be an unwanted burden on their family. And he was not taken care of properly. He was unfairly treated and he was within the four walls of the garden in Calcutta. Right, so Calcutta is a city, so there is a huge difference in the life of a person being in the village and being in the city. So you hardly find spaces to run and play around. There, Sutik used to be, and their house was near the river. So he used to even go to the rivers. He used to row the boats. So all these you will not find in Calcutta University. So he was missing his home. He was missing his mother a lot. And his aunt was also not giving that love which a mother gives to her son, sorry. Her son. So he as a whole, he was in his adolescence actually, adolescence the age where you undergo a lot of hormonal changes. Emotionally, physically, a lot of changes happen. The child is tormented from inside. The parents, as a parent, the responsibilities of the parent increases when the child reaches his adolescent age, both for the girls and for the boys. So during this time, a lot of changes happen, and because of that, the child needs emotional support. He or she does a lot of things unknowingly, and therefore during this time, there is a requirement of a support in the form of parents who would understand him, ignore the mistakes that he or she is making, and at the same time trying to make him understand what is right and what is wrong. So during this time, the parents' responsibilities increases the most. But unfortunately, his parents don't get to understand that and sends him to Calcutta in his aunt's place. And
That's why his parents were living in the town.
They were living in the village.
His parents.
Yes.
And they sent him
to aunt's house.
was in town.
Was it? Why? because they wanted him to study in school and do well in his life. Because here in the village, he was really running around in the fields, he was not studying.
There was
And there were proper facilities to educate him. For that, he was sent, and but he needed that support at home. Even if they had sent him, he needed that support which was missing currently. And then finally he falls sick. He gets very high fever, falls sick. And finally, we don't get to know what exactly happens, but we presume he dies. So when his mother comes to see him, he sees his mother and then he stops talking. He was looking for his mother desperately, and when his mother finally comes, he probably dies. We assume he died, but it is very open-ended. It is for us to interpret what happens in that part. So it ends in a very tragic note, but so this story that Tagore has written in order to, raise consciousness among the people, among the parents about our responsibilities also as a parent to understand an adolescent child and the grief that it brings with sudden separation and isolation. Like nowadays, what happens, nowadays, I think the children are more accustomed to it. I have seen many families where the father has transferable job. The child gets transferred from one school to the other, and the child faces this issue. Right? This is the problem of adjustment. He makes friends, he or she makes friends in that school. Suddenly, after 2 to 3 years, he shifted. Now, this problem does not arise when the child is small. He easily makes friends. But when the child reaches the adolescent age, there lies the problem. So during that time, if you bring about a change, those 4 years of someone's life is the most crucial years of someone's life. From 9, 10, 11, 12. After that, people become mature. Nine, not even 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, during that time, they undergo these changes, the hormonal changes, the emotional change, the physical changes. So a lot of changes happen, and the child is tormented from inside. And during that time, they need the support of the parents, which was somewhere missing here. And this is what Tagore wants to show. And not only from the parents, but also from the aunt. Aunt treated him very badly. So the support that he was craving for somewhere did not come to him.
Yeah.
Which school? Went. And you are bringing your friends also here. Okay. Right. So let's start. So you underline this, the name of the boy is Pratik Chakraborty. And then you underline the theme, the homecoming. In the homecoming, we have the universal themes of adolescence, neglect, responsibility, love, and isolation. Responsibility as parents, right? As parents and also as guardians. We have a lot of responsibility when we bring a life to the world, like to the earth, it is our responsibility to take care of that life. And that responsibility is shown here. Neglect. When someone is neglected of love, what happens? What goes through the mind of the child, the young mind of the child? He is immature. He needs support. He doesn't understand. So during that time, you need proper support and guidance. And emotional support is extremely important. Now, if you neglect that child during that time, the child either suffers emotionally or he can change, he can become something else, which we saw in Oliver Twist, right? Which we saw in Oliver Twist. Now, Oliver becomes a criminal. Not, as you said, yes. Okay, so it becomes a criminal. So, it is as a society, it is our responsibility to take care of these young minds and direct them and channelize them in the proper way. Now let us begin with the story. You read from Pratik Chakraborty.
Pratik Chakravarti was ringleader among the boys at the village.
Of the village.
Of the village.
You people are pointing out each and every mistake.
A new
All three of you.
a new mischief got into his head. There was a heavy log lying on the mud flat of the river, waiting to be shaped into a mast for a boat. He decided that they should all work together to shift the log by main force from its place and roll it away. The owner of the log would be angry and surprised, and they would all enjoy the fun. Everyone seconded the proposal, and it was carried unanimously. Unanimously.
Yes. Now, what do you mean by everyone seconded the proposal?
Agreed.
Agreed the proposal, right? And it was carried out unanimously. So what was the plan? Underline the plan part, underline the plan part.
A heavy log was lying on the flat mud like
So there was a man they used to roam around and play in the riverside. So there was a log of wood lying, and they wanted to remove it from that place, shift it from that place. And the owner of the log would be extremely angry, and they would take the fine, right? So you can see he was extremely naughty. But that naughtiness can be guided and channelized. This is what Tagore says, that you cannot punish if a child is naughty. You need to make him, why is he doing these actions? Because he does not understand that this is wrong, right? The child is doing it because he probably is not able to understand how
one is there to tell it and
yeah, so he is not able to understand that this is wrong and what problems that the other person is facing because of his naughtiness. So you need somebody to guide and channelize your child in the proper direction, right? And this is one example of his naughtiness. So he would take the fun. Somebody's anger will be his fun. Okay?
But just as the fun was about to begin, Makhan, Pratik's younger brother, sauntered and sat down on the log in front of them all, without a word. The boys were puzzled for a moment. He was pushed rather timidly by one of the boys and told to get up, but he remained quite unconcerned. He appeared like a young philosopher meditating on the futility of games. Pratik was furious. Makhan, he cried, if you don't get down this minute, I will thrash you. Makhan only moved to a more comfortable position. Now, if Pratik was to keep his regal dignity before the public, it was clear that he ought to carry out his threat. But his courage failed him at the crisis. His fertile brain, however, rapidly seized upon a new maneuver, which would discomfit his brother and afford his followers an added amusement. He gave the word of command to roll the log and Makhan over it together. Makhan heard the order and made it a point of honor to stick on. But he overlooked the fact, like those who attempt earthly fame in other matters, that there were peril in it.
Okay, now let me explain this part. So what happened? There was his younger brother, right? His name Makhan. Okay, so Makhan was his younger brother, and the plan that everybody agreed to, he did not want this plan to be successful. So what did he do? So what did he do? Just this brother rivalry, right? The sibling rivalry. Sibling rivalry, nothing else. So he sat on it, he sat on the law. He did not want that law to be moved. Now, he got very angry, being the older brother, he got very angry and asked him to move. If he doesn't move, then he will thrash him out. And because he was in his adolescence, he was a teenager, always remember the teenage, this is the age when the pride and ego is at its highest peak. And peer pressure, friends are more important than anybody else during this time. You know, this is a very natural phenomena which we see in everyone. Even you also will develop the same thing at one point of time. Right? The friends, whatever the friends say, you will give more weightage to those words than to your parents. Because, this peer pressure works a lot during this time. So his pride, his ego in front of his friends, as I'm listening, his ego, his pride in front of his friend is more important than anything else at that time. Now, because he told this in front of his friends, right, he had to keep up to that word. Now, Makhan was not moving. When he threatened him, saying that if you do not move, then I will crush you. Even after that, he stuck onto that. Not only that, he
Just
just in a more
comfortable
comfortable place. He adjusted himself in a more comfortable position. Right? Then what happened? Then, in order to keep up his ego and dignity in front of his friends, his face
So that it
in
does
front
not
of
get
his. Therefore, definitely, he wanted to keep his word at the same time, he wanted to do something else, something more than that. So what did they decide? They decided to roll the log along with Makhan. Right? Now, and Makhan also is so stubborn that he still stuck onto it, thinking that he will be able to manage the situation and the elder brother will fail in this mission. Okay? So,
but there are some risk for
and what is the remaining maneuver? What is in the maneuvering?
series of moves.
Yeah, series of required moves. Sorry?
Series of required.
Yes, series of moves, right. And what is meaning of discomfort?
Uncomfortable.
Discomfort. Right.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable discomfort. What is the meaning of the word pairing?
Ma'am,
Danger.
Danger.
Yes, danger. Correct. Danger is the word. Risk, danger, problem also. Okay. And what about legal dignity? The first time, legal dignity of that paragraph. What do you mean by legal dignity?
His dignity.
His dignity, legal dignity, a lot of dignity that he possesses. He wants to keep up that. He
Doesn't want to get ashamed first.
In the respect.
Okay. Now, you read the next paragraph. The boys began to leave at the law.
The boys began to leave at the log with all their might, calling out, 1, 2, 3, go. At the word go, the log went, and with it went Marcus' philosophy, theory, and all. All the other boys shouted just
Sorry, he sat there as if he was meditating. So he was meditative philosophy. Okay, so all his philosophy, all his meditation gone.
Along with the law.
Along with the law. Okay, continue.
all the other boys shouted themselves, forced with delight. But Fatigue was a little frightened. He knew what was coming, and sure enough, Makhan rose from Mother Earth, blind as fate and screaming like the Furies. He rushed at Fatigue and scratched his face and beat him and kicked him, and then went crying home. The first act of the drama was over. Fatigue wiped his face and sat down on the edge of a sunken barge on the river bank. And began
Second part, correct, on the river bank.
to chew a piece of grass. A boat came up to the landing, and a middle-aged man with grey hair and dark mustache stepped on shore. He saw the boy sitting there doing nothing and asked him where Chakravartis lived. Patik went on chewing the grass and said, over there. But it was quite impossible to tell where he pointed. The stranger asked him again. He swung his legs to and fro on the side of the barge and said, go and find out, and continued to chew the grass as he.
Disrespectful towards the old man.
Yeah, so he was so disrespectful towards the old man, right? So here, what do you think? What wrongdoings of Kotik that we see here? So first of all,
Disrespectful old elders.
elder come later, okay, disrespecting the elder.
Then
Okay,
it does not
Does
have
not
some
have-
manner to speak to
okay, no manners,
Manifest.
manifest.
okay, no manners to speak. He did not show good manners while
I mean,
speaking.
he was not helpful.
He was not helpful. Okay, what else? What are the wrong?
He was acting strange towards that incident.
Okay, he was acting indifferent to that incident, right? Not strange, but indifferent. What else? What do you think? What wrong do you think he had done to his brother?
I'm cutting to his brother.
Yeah, Patik to his brother. This is to the old man. What about Patik to his brother?
We don't even know.
And being as a big brother of him, he should respect him and he should take
Not
care.
respect him, but
He should take care of his younger brother instead of
so instead of taking care of him, he
careless. He was not a good brother.
so careless. He probably did not understand the importance or significance of such things. Now, when he had to understand that since he was his younger brother, therefore he had to understand him more than the younger brother would understand the older one, right? So there somewhere there was lack of maturity in understanding the situation, right? Okay.
But now a servant came down from the house and told Patik his mother wanted him. Patik refused to go. But the servant was the master on this occasion. He took Patik up on him.
Markan rose from Mother Earth, blind as straight and screamed like a furious Cindy.
Yes. It is a simile, correct. So here, and sure enough, Makhan rose from Mother Earth, blind as fate. You know why blind as fate? Why is God fate called as blind? Because
He was
very stupid.
no. But here you see fate is written in capital letter. Okay, God is fate is supposed to be. You must have seen this. Is the courts. You must have seen the. We call it Kanu, right? Because that lady is blindfolded and she holds one balance in her hand. Okay, so that is fate. Fate means the fate was imagined to be blind. Why? Because she does not have to. She should not be partial to anybody. She should make a judgment, or she should, fate is somewhere. She should give people without noticing
to
the
prevent
fate
injustice.
to prevent injustice. So just like blind, so Makan rose from Mother Earth, blind as fate and screaming like the furies. Furies. Yes, correct. There was a movie also on that. Anyway, so furies, so he started screaming like the furies. So furious, he was very, very angry. Okay, so that is over. So it is an example of a simile, right? Okay, continue from fatigue. Why? No, that is over. Right? Go find out.
Fighting further indignantly.
Yeah, indignantly. Now underline the word indignantly. What does it mean? Yes.
But he is unfairly treated, so he is angry.
Yes, indignantly means looking down upon somebody, not respecting somebody. So that is a meaning of indignantly. Okay, so Pratik answered indignantly.
No, I haven't. Who told you that? His mother shouted. Don't tell lies. You have. Patik said suddenly. I tell you, I haven't. You asked Makan. But Makan thought it is best to stick to his previous statement. He said, yes, mother. Patik did hit me.
Now, actually, what had happened? Do you think Pratik had actually?
No, he is.
So there lies the mother's role in actually understanding what exactly had happened. Now the mother was blindly believing what her younger son was telling her. She ignored the pleas of her other son, the older one. Right? Because she thought that since he is mischievous, therefore he is the one who is always the wrong, always on the wrong side. But that is not the case over here. Right? So as a mother, as a parent, you
could not identify the character of both the brothers.
Yes. So you should be able to analyze the situation. So both they are all children. It is our responsibility to show them that and guide them the proper path. Right? So as a mother, as a parent, I should know who has done what. Right? What is right and what is wrong. I should know who could do what. But if I, as a mother, judge them incorrectly, then if I am punishing the boy who was actually telling the truth, and not punishing the one who was actually telling the lie, then I am doing injustice to both of them. Right?
And obvious,
Now this younger brother is taking advantage of that, and he is learning that. He knows very well that by lying, I am getting the advantage of getting my brother, my elder brother, get uh, get hurt by my parents, get punished by my parents. So he is taking advantage of that. So both of them, in both the ways, it is wrong. So as a parent, we need to be extremely responsible and extremely wise in taking a decision that who is right and who is wrong. As a parent, it's our responsibility to understand, to have a clear distinction of right and wrong. Right? Okay.
both are made mistakes.
Yes, both are made mistakes. Continue.
But if patient was already exhausted, could not hear this injustice, he rushed at Markham and hammered him with the blows. Take that, he cried, and that for telling lies.
Now see, in front of his mother, he is giving an example, he is eating. So obviously the mother will believe what the mother.
Hammered it with blows.
Hammered him with blows, it is like hammering.
Great.
Yes, it's an example of metaphor, you can say. So, just like a hammer, that fixes thing in the right, fixes it in the right place, and then he also hammered him. Okay, continue.
His mother took Makhan's side in a moment and pulled Patik away, beating him with her hands. When Patik pushed her aside, he shouted out, "What, little villain, would you hit your own mother?" It was just at this critical junction that the grey-haired stranger arrived. He asked what the matter was. Patik looked sheepish and ashamed. But when his mother stepped back and looked at the stranger, her anger was changed to surprise. For she recognized her brother and cried, "Why, Dada? Where have you come from?" As she said these words, she bowed to the ground and touched his feet. Her brother had gone away soon after she had married and had started business in Bombay. His sister had come back to Calcutta. He lost her husband while he was in Bombay. Bishamber had now come back to Calcutta and had at once made enquiries about his sister. He had hastened to see her as soon as he
Actually, I think he did not have his father.
Yes, ma'am.
He did not have the father. She was a widow. That was the reason why she decided to send Patik, which
Because he had control. Because she could not
he was not
control
able to
it.
control. Okay. Continue.
The next few days were full of rejoicing. The brother asked after the education of the two boys. He was told by his sister that Patik was a perpetual nuisance. He was lazy, disobedient, and wild. But
Please underline all these words. He was lazy, he was disobedient and wild. Of course, he was wild, and it was out of his anger that he becomes wild.
Markham was as good as gold, as quiet as a lamb.
See, so many similes have been used, right? As good as gold, as quiet as a lamb. Okay, so we call it in Hindi like sona, mera beta to sona hai. So it as good as gold, right? We call it in Hindi, right? And sona. And to see his mother is so biased. His her younger, impartial,
Not even.
partial.
So, she not even is recognizing her own sons.
Okay. Okay, now I will say you have finished this, and you continue, stop up to the end of this cycle, then we will have. Okay.
Vishambar kindly offered to take Patik of his sister's hand and educate him with his whole children in Calcutta. The widowed mother readily agreed. When his uncle asked Patik
And
if he
here
would
it
like
is
to
written that December lived in Calcutta. And his mother lived in Bombay.
Hey,
No, she was living in a village in West Bengal. In Bengal. West Bengal, Calcutta is capital of West Bengal. West Bengal is the state. So he was living in a village. She was living in a village with Patik and Makhan.
His brother business was in Bombay.
Now her brother, Dada over here in Bengali, we call Dada, the elder brother Dada, we call Dada. Okay, so So her the Fatik's Mama ji, okay, Mama, right? In Hindi we call Mama. So Mama ji comes after a long time. So she sees her brother, her older brother, after a long time, after marriage for the first time. Because after marriage, she gave birth to two children, and then her husband died, and after that, now he was working in Bombay. Okay, now they have, yes, now they have come to Calcutta, search for his sister after he heard the news. During that time, we didn't have mobile, there was no mobile, there was no telephone. Communication was a bit of a challenge. So it used to take a lot of time for someone to meet the other person. So finally, the uncle came, and uncle of Fatik came to their house, and he saw Fatik and Makhan for the first time because he had seen his own sister after for the first time after marriage. Okay, got it now? So his name is Vishambhai. So he had come to Calcutta, so from Bombay to Calcutta, searched for his sister, came to the village, and decided to take him to Calcutta in their house. Okay. And so that he will also be brought up along with his other children. Okay, continue.
When his uncle asked Patel if he would like to go to Calcutta with him, his joy knew no bounds, and he said, "Oh yes, uncle," in a way that made it quite clear that he meant it.
He wanted to get rid of this unfair treatment.
Sorry? He wanted to get rid of this unfair treatment, but when he goes there, they are also, Mangi did not treat him properly. But he did not know that, right? When he goes there, he wasn't aware of this. Okay, continue. Wait, I will continue.
It was an immense relief to the mother to get rid of fatigue. She had a prejudice against the boy, and no love was lost between the two brothers. She was in daily fear that he would
So
either
you can see over here, underline this, she had a prejudice against the boy. So she was somewhere very partial towards her younger people. It's a prejudice.
pass them, pass to.
No, prejudice is bias, yes, bias. She was not biased. Prejudice is actually some concept that you have beforehand. Okay, prejudice, the word prejudice actually means some preconceived notion that you have about something. The opinion that you form before you actually come to know the truth. Like some preconceived notion that he is always wrong. Some preconceived notion she always had against her older son. Right? Okay? Okay, continue.
Yeah.
And no love was lost between the two brothers.
She was in a daily fear that she would either drown him someday in the river, or break his head in a fight, or run him into some danger or other.
See, as a mother, she was also right because, Patik was so wild. So she was worried that one day he may end up drowning him somewhere, killing his brother. So he may be so wild. But somewhere she could not notice that he would probably not go to that extent. It was somewhere Makhan who was provoking him to
Yes.
go to that step.
And is
Right?
it
Yes.
My Makhan is a Makhan.
So he is someone who would provoke him to do that. To take that
people like that?
Yes.
Who always provoke you.
And he is very short tempered. Basically, I would say that Fatik was more short tempered. He would easily get angry without realizing the consequence of the situation. He would react. He was more impulsive. Okay, we will draw out a character sketch of him. Okay, so but whereas the younger one was more manipulative. He knew very well how to provoke his brother and then take advantage of the situation. Right? Okay, continue.
At the same time, she was somewhat distressed to see Fatigue's extreme eagerness to get away. Fatigue has soared as all was said.
You are not well, are you?
Yes.
Okay, okay, you please carry on and ask.
Kept asking his uncle every minute when they were done. He was on pins and needles all day, long with excitement, and lay awake most of the night. He became the Makhan in perpetuity, his fishing rod, his big kite, and his marbles. Indeed, at this time of departure, his generosity toward Makhan was unbounded.
Okay. Patrick, as soon as all was settled, kept asking his uncle every minute when they were to start. He was on pins and needles all day long with excitement. What is the meaning of pins and needles?
He was very
So
excited.
jump with excitement and hope.
He was very excited of it.
Yes. Extremely excited. He was always because on the toes. He was on the toes.
He was always
Pins
connected
and
to the
needles. He was highly excited and lay awake most of the night. He bequeathed to Makhan in perpetuity. What is bequeathed?
And he generously gave it.
No. Bequeath means
It's perfect.
when you leave something
Okay.
for someone else to use. Your thing, you are giving it to someone else to use. Usually, bequeath means when you give somebody something, maybe after your death, you give it to him, saying that we take it after his death. Okay, a property or something which will pass on to the next person after his death. That is known as bequeathing. Okay, now here bequeath means he left a part of his property. He gave it to this brother before he died. Okay, continue. Acha, continue. You will read from when they reach Calcutta.
When they reached Calcutta, Potter made the acquaintance of his aunt for the first time. She was by no means pleased with this unnecessary addition to her family. She found her own three was quite enough to manage without taking on anyone else, and to bring a village lad of 14 into their modest first makes them upsetting. Vishamba should really have thought twice before committing such an indiscretion.
Now, underline, how many children did she have? Three. She already had three children, so obviously, we can't blame the aunt as well. Though she showed partiality, that was wrong. But again, she was right. She had to anyway bring up three children, and on top of that, there is one village lad of 14 years who comes their family. Obviously, he becomes an unwanted burden for that family, right?
Already is a very mysterious.
What is the meaning of burden? He bequeathed to Makhan in perpetuity means with love. Yeah, with love, but not exactly with love, but so he parted up.
Signing
gave
of
up
his property.
no. He gave a part of his thing with lawfully, right? In perpetuity, lawfully passed on to the next person. Okay, giving him full uh, hold of that particular thing. Okay, I will give the exact meanings. Let me find out. Okay, just underline it. I'll give the exact meaning. Okay. Sure. Next, okay, continue.
In this world of human affairs, there is no worse nuisance than a boy at the age of 14. He is neither ornamental nor useful. It is impossible to shower affection on him as on a little boy, and he is always getting in the way. If he talks with a childish lisp, he is called a baby, and if he answers in a grown-up way style, he is called impertinent. In fact, any talk at all from him is insulting. Then he is at the unattractive growing age. He grows out of his clothes with indecent face. His voice grows hoarse and breaks and quavers. His face grows suddenly angular and unsightly. It is easy to execute the excuse the shortcoming or the early childhood, but it is hard to tolerate even unavoidable lapses in a boy of 14. The lad
Quickly.
The lad himself becomes painful, self-conscious,
Painfully self-conscious.
painfully so. When he talks with elderly people, he is either unduly forward or else so unduly shy that he appears ashamed of his very existence.
Okay, now this entire paragraph is a beautiful description of the emotional changes, the emotional and physical changes that a teenager, an adolescent undergoes, and how he is seen by the society, by the people of the society. Okay, so it's a very beautiful description that Raymond has written over here. Now, during this time, then since there are a lot of changes that takes place, you must be aware that the voice changes, right? It becomes hoarse. Now, during this time, because the hormonal changes that is happening inside the body, because of that, emotionally also the child undergoes some turmoils from inside. So he or she is probably unable to understand what is right and wrong for that child. And if the child speaks, he or she feels that he is grown up now, he's an adolescent, he has already grown up now, he is no more a kid, he is no more a child, I mean, he is no more a kid, I can say. He has grown up, he has grown to that next level. So he is in a transitional phase between an adult and a child. He considers himself to be an adult, but the adults don't consider himself to be an adult, and therefore they expect him to follow everything that they would ask him to, but he refuses, he denies, he wants to do what he wants, he becomes opinionated, he becomes an individual identity. He tries to create an individual identity of his own. He does not always get the recognition of that from the outside world, but he wants to, he craves for it, right? Yes. The
Then
way they don't play.
Ma'am, it is already 16.
Yes, ma'am, they told me. Very.
Okay.
Like an automatic, there's.
I will get you the meanings yet. Exact meanings. Tell me the words. Tell me the words from that meaning. The first place things and needles you have understood.
Yes, ma'am. Extremely excited around his shoes.
Very good.
that is very well done.
Very good. No, we don't want you to say.
But they can do them for and you.
Yeah, write down the meaning of perpetuity. A state lasting forever. A state lasting forever.
You want to put it down.
Maybe on his people.
What about football?
Any other word?
Because maximum देखा नहीं मैंने किलोमीटर.
Maybe you are as if you are always in the matches.
Most of the time maximum में रहता हूँ creating. अभी जो high level में like Manchester पे है ना उसमें सारी स्कूल रहती है.
Don't do that. Don't do it. Put it in the end. I'm not nice.
जब हमारा कंपटीशन हुआ था जो में कंपटीशन था गेम में म्यूजिक ये नहीं फुटबॉल का नहीं नॉर्मल कंपटीशन था जिसमें जो में जाके जो में कंपटीशन हुआ था म्यूजिक गेमिंग डांसिंग जो हुआ था कॉलर रोटी के टीम दिया हम लोग सुबह 4 बजे निकाले और 9 बजे घर पर आके
So the break is from 5:50 AM to
Not 5:16. अब 5:20 time था.
we started at 5:15, 5:20.
16 को चालू किया था मैंने
50 man.
हाँ सब
We started also late, right?
25.
We did not start at 4:30. We started at 4:31 or 4:30.
I'm already हमारे स्कूल में मैम मिसकी ऑफिस में हमारे में कंपटीशन रहता है मैम जो को मिला के मैं गेमिंग डांसिंग सिंगिंग का कंपटीशन था मैम हम लोग को जो को लेके गए हम गेमिंग के मैं गेमिंग
Speak in English.
and I was like
You can clear voice. Okay, tell me.
ma'am we had 3 competition gaming dancing and singing I was in gaming there were 3 games FIFA Call of Duty and F1 and I was selected in Call of Duty and my school one team came fourth and for my team
नहीं
came first.
अभी selection के लिए बात.
And there is so much
Now, okay, very good. You know that you are aware that there will be a PTM on your
Yes,
so
24 hours.
what are they?
Yeah. Call of Duty.
Mobile.
What is that? Okay, that and now we did not get any.
It would be better for me to come in the morning because I have a program in for that.
what will you tell what will you tell to our parents
I will tell for you that you have not shown me any of the papers.
I'm going to why नहीं है
That is what I have to talk to your mother.
But we.
No, but at least they have told me the mark, they had their.
कोई एग्जाम भी नहीं हुए अभी तक मार्क्स से ना है सितंबर स्टार्ट होने वाले
So that is what I want to discuss with your parents that you know exam was conducted so far.
no exam connected I'm not in
Your personal exam was conducted.
no exam connected not in literature was completely not in language and literature bomb MCQ I got 23 marks
Not, I'm not talking about the test cities, I'm talking about the school exam.
school में not given I'm telling you
When
there are only one MCQ every back 23 out of 25 then you will see the act one C3 test is tomorrow
now you are telling me
ना हमको पहले ही को
the test tomorrow.
मैं पढ़ लूँगा
Then
This is the.
act one C3
you could have told, you could have started, I mean, you could have left some time on it.
is okay
No, it's not okay.
why is that
It's okay for you, not for me.
in my
At least 10 minutes, we could have done some brushing up of that, and especially I would have asked you to write something. We have time, we'll see.
nah
Won't do this. Okay, ready? Time is over.
no I'm tired not over I'm
It's already
tired
over, it's 5:22.
I'm not now it is 18 3 more minutes now
Yes.
I'm doing 20 minutes
We still have so much to complete, and then question, I'll give you one spelling.
Not every actor.
Time pass, huh?
everybody understand but not that
Chalo, sit down.
I'm ready
Big.
they started others will चालू है
that's big चालू है
Sit. Chalo. Okay. Now, underline all the characteristic features which Tagore has written here about an adolescent age. Okay,
Now try to be the control.
आणि जर ते 3-4 मिनिट
अरे भाई
Why and switch off the fan?
बेटा तो मैं value.
तो लगाया जाए बता.
Okay. Okay, what happened to this?
किसी में आ रहा है.
Okay, now,
बता.
what are the characteristic feature which are being written by Tagore about an adolescent period? Okay, number one. He is neither ornamental, please underline those parts. He is
He is
neither
no worse than
ornamental nor useful. What do you mean by this statement? What do you mean by this? That he is neither ornamental nor useful. What do you mean by ornamental?
It's not valuable.
He is not valuable.
He not very mean he cannot he does not listen to anything, so he cannot
Yes, he is not useful. He is neither good, he is neither someone to presentable, ornamental over here, more presentable. He is neither presentable, nor he is, presentable, valuable, you can use the word valuable also for ornamental. What does ornament do? It actually decorates you more, right? So he is neither attractive nor he is useful. Correct? Why he is not attractive during this time, since the hormonal changes take place and a lot of changes in the physical appearance also takes place. Therefore, during this time, you would see the boys and the girls, they don't look nice during this time. Gradually, again, after they reach their maturity, after they complete that entire process, they again start looking good. Okay, so neither he is attractive nor he is useful. It is impossible to shower affection on him as on a little boy. When we see babies, we show a lot of affection, the little ones. But this is the age where you cannot,
चुप बैठ रहा है.
this is the age when you cannot show affection to him because he has his own opinion. He is an individual. He has a say in everything, right? I have, when I have seen when I see the development of a child, you would see that there was a time when the child would agree everything, whatever the parents said. But when he or she comes to this adolescent age, he or she has his or her own opinion and always contradicts the parents. No, this is not required. I will not do this now. Why are you telling me this? Always questions. And this is what suddenly is not acceptable for the parents who are used to this control over their children. Suddenly he realizes that suddenly that control is going on. Right? So this age is extremely crucial. These children are the most difficult ones to handle. Okay, clear? Right. Now this is the first one. What is the second one? So what is the first one? Quick
Offense and then
Wait, the first one, he is neither ornamental nor.
the first one is given that there is no worse interest than a boy at the age of 14.
Yes, why is it a nuisance? Because of all these reasons. What are the change? The guy.
First one is neither ornamental nor
That is
useful.
over. Then the next one, it is.
No one will show affection.
So it is impossible to show affection, right? So you cannot love like the way you do a little child, right? You can't shower love to that.
If he talks with a childish lips.
And he is always getting in a way, right? He has his own way, he has his own opinion. If he talks with a childishness, he is called a baby. In this age, I don't talk like a baby, you are grown up now. But again, if he wants to behave like an adult, that also is not acceptable to us. Right? So he is in a transitional phase, neither a child nor an adult. Neither a child's behavior is accepted nor an adult's behavior is accepted. So we somewhere fail to accept the adolescent children, right? Okay, so if it and answers in a grown-up way, he is called impertinent. If he answers back, if he gives his opinion and acts like an adult, he is regarded as impertinent. What is impertinent? What is the meaning of the word impertinent? You are not writing any meaning. Impertinent means being disrespectful, not showing respect. Okay, not showing respect to others, being rude, being disrespectful. So he becomes impertinent during that time. Right? So if he behaves like a child, is not acceptable. If he behaves like an adult and answers his own way, then he becomes incontinent, again not accepted by the society, right? In fact, any talk at all from him is resented. If resented means not liked, not accepted, okay, not liked. Then he is at an unattractive growing age. He grows out of his clothes, like he grows tall, right? During this time, suddenly you could see the boys, the girls, suddenly he grows so tall. You have, I think, all crossed that age.
Ma'am, he's child.
He has grown very tall. It's very good. He has got a very good height.
But that some children also upgraded due to some disease, due to some phobia.
Oh, yeah.
And
That is definitely, every person has its own growth rate, right? So, everybody reaches that stage at different ages. So, if someone reaches in grade 8, the others will reach in grade 9, others may reach in grade 10. So, usually this is the time period, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so these 4 years is the time period when this change, the hormonal change happens. Okay. So he is unattractive, okay. He grows out of his clothes because he grows very tall with indecent face. That means indecent face means very, very quickly. I have seen with my own children, suddenly, my daughter especially, in 1 year, every month she was growing this much. So every month we had to change the clothes, which is not possible. Again, see, manage and adjust, we have to, wear this. Anyway, indecent face, so very, very fast. His voice grows hoarse and breaks and quavers. Right? The voice becomes hoarse and breaks and quavers. So underline that part also. Breaks and quavers mean breaks and quavers actually these are the notes of the music actually, breaks where you pause and go down. So breaks and quavers, but here it means that it becomes hoarse and it breaks at some points and then it shakes at some points. Okay, so it becomes a little different. His face grows suddenly angular and unsightly. Suddenly it grows tall. They're not visible that way, and it grows a little angular. And then it is easy to excuse the shortcomings of early childhood, but it is hard to tolerate any unavoidable lapses in the boy. This is the most important point. If a child makes a mistake, the adults, they quickly forgive the child, saying that he is a child, he doesn't understand. But if the same mistake is done or any other mistake made by a boy of 14, it is very, very difficult for the society to accept. He is grown up, he knows how to behave, he is no more a child, but he is behaving like this. It is unacceptable. Right? Got it? All these points you have to memorize. It's very, very important. Okay. And then he becomes painfully self-conscious, very, very important point. He becomes extremely self-conscious. Okay. And also highly influenced by his friends, which is not written over here. And he develops that ego during that time, the dignity that he has to maintain. He becomes self-conscious of this image in the public. When he talks with elderly people, he is either unduly forward or he is unduly shy. So when he, speaking to a stranger, either he is too rude to them, too forward with them, right? Or he have opened up too much, or he is extremely shy during this time. These are it actually happens with each and every individual when the child is changing and changing from, or when he is in a transitional phase from child to an adult. Okay, fine. This paragraph, why I read it once again, because this is the most important paragraph of this. I mean, one of the most important paragraphs, which shows the changes. And Pratik was in age of 14. Okay. Now whose turn? Azam again.
Yet, it is at this very age when it is hard of heart the young lad most craves for recognition and love.
Okay, underline this also. So this is the time when he craves for recognition and love. So other than this, this is other than the societal acceptance and rejection. He also lives for recognition. He wants to be recognized whatever he does, whatever opinions he takes, and also praised for love. And that is the reason why all the love stories begin during this time. Okay, continue.
And he becomes the devoted slave, the only one who shows him consideration.
Yes, now this is again very important. You know, they can do anything for you if you show confidence and love towards that person. That child who has now become an adolescent, they do anything if that boy or the girl is channelized properly, and if you are able to build that confidence in that child, that I whatever I am telling is for your good. If that child understands that, he will do anything for you. And that is actually that is the case. They can do anything. But if they don't like you, they will make your life end. Okay, so this is the very normal, natural characteristic feature of this age. If that child, if that boy likes a person, he can do anything for that person. If he dislikes that person, he will make his life end. Okay, so that is very, their allegiance is very, very strong. Their loyalty, they show a lot of loyalty to what they do.
But none there openly love him. For that will be regarded as none
Undue indulgence.
individual and therefore bad for the world.
Yes. Now, what happens? It's easy to show love to the little ones. In front of everyone, we cuddle that child and, we see that child in that childish words and losing. But we cannot do that to a boy or 14-year-old. Right? So, what would others think? So, therefore, what happened? What are you doing? No. Go through it. Okay? So, me. Okay, so it will show overindulgence. What would people think? That is not the right way to behave. So these come to your mind. Okay, you continue. Dash.
Yet it is at this very age when it is hard.
No, that is over. From so what with scolding and chiding becomes.
So what with scolding and chiding, he becomes very much like a stray dog that has lost his master.
Okay, now underline this sentence, very, very nicely written. So he becomes someone, he becomes like a stray dog, right? Who has lost his master. What happens to a stray dog? Here also similarly used, right? So what is a stray dog? Why do we call them a stray dog? What is the difference between a stray dog and the other breeds of dogs which we
And they can ready.
Huh? Stray dogs are disowned. Correct. Very true. They are left without any care. Wherein we bring other dogs of higher breeds, right? And we keep in our houses, domesticate them. We keep them as, no, I will not say domesticate them, but as pets. They are already domesticated animals, but we keep them as pets. Right? We have to keep them as pets, but not a stray dog. Right? They are not taken care of. So this boy, this age is also like the stray dogs, right? Always scolding, and they are always on the receiving side of scolding and child.
For a boy of 14, his own home is the only paradise. To live in a strange house with strange people is little short of torture, while the height of bliss is to receive the kind looks of women and never to be slighted by them.
Okay, so this is the age when he looks for recognition and love, right? So this is the time when he looks for the kind looks of women and not the sided looks, not the partial looks who will always side him, right? Okay, continue.
It was anguish to partake to be the unwelcome guest in his aunt's house.
Anguish, like what anguish?
Despised by the elderly woman and slighted on every occasion. If she ever asked him to do anything for her, he would be so overjoyed that he would overdo it, and then she would tell him not to be so stupid, but to get on with his lessons.
So see, in order to get recognition, he is doing everything for his aunts, right? He would do everything, maybe overdo things at times. But again, he would get scolded and it would be, she would ask him to do his lessons, which is right? As an aunt, it was her duty to tell him to sit and study, which he would not like to do. So he would like to do more of, helping his aunt in different chores of the household chores. But she would reprimand him and ask him to sit and study his lessons.
The grand atmosphere of neglect in the aunt's house.
Okay, underline this, the cramped atmosphere of neglect in his aunt's house.
Afraid fatigue so much that he felt that he could hardly breathe.
So
He wanted to
the
go out.
life there became very suffocating, right?
He wanted to go out into an open country and fill his lungs with freely. But there was no open country to go to. Surrounded by all sides by Calcutta houses and walls, he would dream night after night of his village home and long to be back there. He remembered the glorious meadow where he used to fly kite all the day long, broad river banks where he would wander about the livelong day, singing and shouting for joy. The narrow brook where he could go and dive and swim at any time. Like he thought of his band of war companions that were home. He was blissful and above all, the memory of the time his mother, often who had such a prejudice against him, occupied him day and night. A kind of physical love like that of animals, a longing to be in the presence of the one who is loved, an inexpressible wishful during absence, a silent cry of the inmost heart of the mother, like the lowing of the calf of the twilight. This love, which was almost an animal instinct, or agitated the shy, nervous, lean, uncouth, and ugly boy. No one could understand it, but played upon his mind continually.
Okay, now this is the, wait, stop there. Now, what all things did he remember? Quickly, who's turn, you tell me. What all things did he remember at his house, at aunt's house? What did he remember about his life in the village? Country over here means open country means countryside, that means village. Okay, over here country doesn't mean India. Here it means the village. Okay, can you tell me what all things did he remember? To overdo things. No. What all things he remembered, the fond memories of his country, of his village. That he
The place where he used to play and hide.
Okay, yes, fly with kite all day long.
Yeah.
And his meadow which he used to play at his side.
He remember the glorious meadow.
The place where he used to find the joy.
Okay,
He used to-
yes, Ayush. So kite is over, the meadows and the kites are over. Now what is one?
The narrow brook where he would tie and step.
Which one?
The narrow brook where he would.
The narrow brook means small river, right? The narrow brook, where he would dive, right? So
And he was-
dive and swim at any time. Life in the village is like that. You have open fields, you have rivers, you have river banks, you have boats, you can take kites at any time, you can dive and swim anytime, which is not available. Nowadays, because of the different complexes, we at least can go and swim and dive. But otherwise, not all complexes have that, right? In the cities, every inch is measured and used for buildings. Okay, and then the band of boy companions over whom he was a despot. What is the meaning of despot? Please underline. What is the meaning of the word despot? Despot basically means someone who rules over another. Okay, someone who rules over another.
So we can say
The control,
leader
complete
of
control.
that.
So he was in complete control of that group, right? So they would follow. He was the leader. He was the undisputed leader of the group. So he would, yes, right. So they would follow him whatever he tells them.
If you want to be good.
Okay, I hope, yes. Anything else?
About his tyrant.
And also his love for animals.
It also is about his tyrant mother.
Yes, silent mother is not mentioned. Is it mentioned? Yes, yes.
Oh,
Silent,
the pain, like-
cry of the heart for the mother. So he was now crying for his mother.
There was no more backward boy in the whole school team than Hattie. He gasped and remained silent when it
Gape. You know what is a gape? When you open your mouth like this. Okay, that is gape. Okay, so we used to gape and remain silent.
Yeah,
The
when
teacher would ask anything.
Yep, and the teacher would ask him a question and type and overlaid and as patiently suffered all the clothes that came down on his back. When other boys were out
There are a lot of similes used. Okay, this is
he
another
stood
simile.
wistfully by the window and gazed at the roofs of the distant houses, and then by chance he spied children playing on the open terrace of any roof. His heart would ache with longing. One day he summoned up all his courage and asked his uncle.
Hey, read it properly. How are you reading? One day he summoned up.
Summoned up and asked his uncle, Uncle, where can I go?
Okay, stop there. You continue.
His uncle,
Wait. What's your name?
Shaurya,
Shaurya. Okay, Shaurya read. His uncle answered.
His uncle answered, wait till the holidays come. But the holidays would not come till November, and there was a long time still to wait. One day, Patil lost his lesson book. Even with the help of books, he had found it very difficult indeed to prepare his lesson. Now it was impossible. Day after day, the teacher would cane him unmercifully.
Just imagine in those days there was corporal punishment. Nowadays we don't have that. So the teacher, he lost his book. He was not paying attention. He would not understand what was being taught in the class because he was not concentrating, right? Because his mind was occupied somewhere else. He was not emotionally stable. And probably that was the reason he was not internally happy and contented. So maybe that affected his studies as well, right? So the teacher would mercilessly beats in his hand. Okay, that's what happened. Okay. Yeah, continue.
His condition became so abjectly miserable that even his cousins were ashamed to own him.
Now, what does it mean? Cousins ashamed of owning him means
and like telling him that he was
he is his brother. Yes, the cousins also feel ashamed. Felt ashamed to identify him as his brother. Tell people about that he is their brother.
They began to fear and insult him more than the other boys. He went to his aunt at last and told her that he had lost his book. His aunt pursed her lips in contempt and said, You great clumsy country love, how can I afford with all my family to buy you new books 5 times a month? That night, on his way back from school, Patik had a bad headache with a fit of shivering. He felt he was going to have an attack of malarial fever. His one great fear was that he would be a nuisance to his aunt. The next morning, Patik was nowhere to be seen. All searches in the neighborhood proved for futile. The rain had been pouring in torrents all night, and those who went out in search of the boy were drenched through to the skin. At last, December asked help from the police. At the end of the day, a policeman stopped at the door before the house. It was still raining, and the streets were all flooded. Two constables brought out Fatih in their arms and placed him before the December. He was wet from head to foot, muddy all over, his face and eyes flushed red with fever, and his limbs all trembling. Bishopwell carried him in his arms and took him into the inner apartments. When his wife saw him, she exclaimed, What a heap of trouble this boy has given us. Hadn't you better send him home? Kartik heard her words and sobbed out loud. Uncle, I was just going home, but it dragged me back again. The fever rose very
Now
high.
see here, as I told you that this is the time when you have a child who has a lot of ego and humility and pride, right? So others making fun of him or others not taking him seriously is something that he cannot take. And because of that, he wanted to avoid his aunt. Because he knew that his aunt was someone who would not like he getting this fever. He would be a nuisance to aunt. And he did not want to trouble his aunt. He wanted to go back to his hometown. I mean, his village. And that is what that was the effort that he was making. He did not want to come to their house with fever and see, this is the condition that he is in now. Okay. Thank you.
December wiped the tears from his own eyes and took Patil's pain and burning hands in his own and sat by him through the night.
The fever rose very high. Did you read that? The fever rose very high, and all that night the boy was delirious. Delirious also means unconscious. Vishambar brought in a doctor. Patik opened his eyes, flushed with fever, and looked up to the ceiling and said vacantly, "Uncle, have the holidays come yet? May I go home?" So, he was in such a state of despair that the uncle also could not control his tears. He understood the emotional turmoil and the trauma that this child was going through. So Vishambar writes down.
Bishamber wiped the tears from his own eyes and took Patik's pain and burning hands in his
Lean means very thin, right? Lean and burning hands in his own. Burning because he was burning with fever.
And sat by him through the night. The boy began again to wonder. At last, his voice became excited. Mother, he cried, don't beat me like that. Mother, I'm telling the truth. The next day, Patik became conscious for a short time. He turned his eyes about the room as if expecting someone to come. At last, with an air of disappointment, his head sank back on the pillow. He turned his face to the wall with a deep sigh. Bishamber knew his thoughts and bending down his head whispered, Patik, I have sent for your mother. The day went by. The mother said in a troubled voice,
The doctor is in the trouble. The mother comes very late in the last and probably he dies after that. So Fatih was expecting his mother to come. So he was expecting that he would see his mother, right? But when he could not see his mother in disappointment, he again sunk his eyes in the pillow. And Vishambar understanding it tells that tells Fatih that he has already sent a note to his mother. The message to his mother and his mother would be happy. Okay.
the Patik began to cry out. By the mark, 3 fathoms. By the mark, 4 fathoms. By the mark. Yeah,
What is this? Fathoms are the measure the depth of the sea. Usually what they do when they row the boats, the village fishermen, when they row the boats, they usually measure it and then they row the boat. So okay, so 3 fathoms by the mark, 4 fathoms by the mark, so they mark the depth and after satisfied that the depth is enough to go forward, then they go. Okay, continue.
Pierre heard the sailor on the river steamer calling out the mark on the plumb line. Now he was himself in a big and unfathomable sea.
What is unfathomable? Very, very deep.
Later in the day, Patik's mother burst into the room like a whirlwind and began to talk from side to side and more and cry in a loud voice. The Shamba tried to calm her agitation, but she flung herself on the bed and cried, Patik, my darling, my darling. Patik stopped his restless movements for a moment. His hand ceased beating up and down. Said, Hey, the mother cried again. Patik, my darling, my darling. Patik very slowly turned his head and without seeing anybody, he said, Mother, the holidays have come.
Okay, so the mother has come that day, holiday has come because the uncle had told him that he can go only during the holidays to his home. Now this is open-ended. It is your interpretation, whatever you think would be the ending. The child may die.
He lived and he died and changed his name.
That would be very nice. Otherwise, it is a tragic end to a life, to a young life, which because of the parents and the aunts, Because of them, his life became traumatic, right?
Was this then? This was the only story which Rabindranath Tagore was. It was a very big story.
No, no, this is the short story. This is the entire story.
It's not a book.
No, it is not from the book. This is one short story. I read this long time back in Bengali, and the name, the vacation has the holidays are come at six. So this the name of the story in Bengali is Chutti.
It's a
It's
big
holidays. Yeah. So it has been translated and very beautiful translation.
I mean, Coco was also there was.
Yeah, that's really good.
They make the character sketch of the book.
Yeah, please go ahead. Make the character sketch and then we will open the volume and go through the question answers and we will try to write some. And I will give you some spelling also. Okay. So character of Patik. He was a teenager. He wanted love and recognition, right? Yes.
Yes.
I mean, who asked you to draw?
Okay.
Go.
No, I
You tell and write.
can.
Okay, so those are the negative qualities which led him to Calcutta. But after that, what side of fatigue we get to see? Impulsive, right? Short-tempered, impulsive.
Inobedient.
Disobedient, yes. Disobedient. These are all the initial phases, right? But after he comes to his aunt's house, he does everything for his aunt to please him.
Impertinent.
Please her. Impertinent, but her aunt takes him to be impertinent, not good in studies, lacks concentration, careless, we can say, because he loses his book also.
But not good in studies. Less
And we
on.
can say is a new so
Yeah.
How was it told that he was not good?
No, but maybe he lacked concentration. He right up
As a child.
Huh?
Adolescent child.
An adolescent child. And then as an adolescent child, it's not written anywhere that he was not good in studies. But because he was getting very poor marks, he was not able to cope up with the studies. Maybe because, suddenly at the age of 14, if you put him in a school in Calcutta, and during those times, there were pathshalas in villages. Not proper education that would happen. That means short tempered, yeah, that means short tempered, it's the same thing. What else? So
We
he
can
was,
say not
can we say that he was not
useful.
useful, but he was useful to his aunt, like he was actually doing a lot of work for his
He
aunt.
was not happy with his mother.
No, you're right, he was desperately trying for love and recognition from his aunt. Right, he was desperately trying for love and recognition from his aunt.
Yes, he tried for.
Love and recognition from his aunt. He did not want to be a burden for his aunt. He shows a lot of pride in himself. Not, don't write that, but he was extremely self-conscious. He was extremely self-conscious and therefore he did not want to be a burden to his aunt. Right? Correct?
Passionate to the work given by his son.
Yes, absolutely. So he that was desperately trying to please his aunt. He was desperately trying for recognition and love, and therefore wanted to please his aunt.
But not attractive and useless.
Those are all the features of the 14-year-old. I mean, a teenager would come here. Will write those same things for him as well. Who majorly desperate for love and recognition, right? And also self-consciousness. So these are the two things which we see here portrayed very expressed very clearly. So did you like the story? It's very, very beautiful. Nowadays the scenarios have changed a lot, but in those days it was the case. The parents were also very ignorant about the upbringing of a child. So because of this, there were so many actually could not do well in their lives because they were not brought up. I mean, ego, that's what, self-conscious, ego. So, no, self-conscious means over here, ego. So he was extremely self-conscious of his dignity, of his pride, of his face value in front of others, in front of the public. Right, so he did not want that.
And prevented ashavedness in front of people.
Yes, yes.
We have read this Bengali version also.
In original his writing. You have read that poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear by Tagore. That is a part of Patanjali. For what he received his Nobel Prize. He was the first Asian to receive Nobel Prize. First Asian. Amazing, writings, and his the most why he is credited so much is because the writings that he has written about the mental conditions of different types of people, and which is applicable even now. Right, this adolescence is even applicable now, but because the parents have now have become more conscious to this, therefore somehow they manage the children well. Now corporate punishment is also not there in schools, right? So that is because of these emotional part of it. Okay. Provoking. Who was provoking? Right. Okay. Now let's open the. Okay, thank you so much. I think you covered everything. Neglected, not attractive, adolescent child. Very good, thank you. Now let us come to another question answer. Let us start with MCQs, page number 66. Quickly come to the MCQs, page number 66.
There's one name here.
What?
इसके बारे में मेरे पास है.
And you have not brought this? No, right.
हम लास्ट वीक के आगे इससे मैंने पूछा कि कैसे पढ़ा था कॉलेज से.
You took this volume?
Yes, my five.
Okay, sit here.
मैंने यहाँ से रखा.
Actually, you were given for that. You were sitting for it. If you want to work here for.
Remember my Bollywood में एक महीने बाद मिली.
Okay, how did you do with the other subjects? What? Exam, other subjects. Good.
Hindi.
No, I'm talking about the school exam. The essay.
Okay. Hindi.
I'm good.
Hindi no.
I'm good. In all subjects, very good.
Hindi.
I think it is good, not bad. I can't say. I did not get it.
What I told you.
But many of the
Why mainly need about that? Is that the benchmark that I have?
अरे मैम dinner and teacher if we don't have to do given from the cut and ma'am ऐसे ही another cut करती है ऐसे ही लिखते हैं. Ma'am English also have the same case. I'm a teacher
So what is your highest in physics? And maths?
and
65.
Highest in physics 55. And how much did you get? No, not in physics.
I know.
Class. Huh? Okay, so 60 is the highest and you got 52. That's very good. What about you?
I'm 45.
What is your highest in your class? What, 55? Yeah, okay, that's. One that's
I will consider.
And yours was 10.
Then.
155 literature.
55. So what was the highest? 60, 64.
No, 72.
Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. That is why you take admission here.
Like last highest to only 64.
So it depends on the height, so that shows how much of
But
strict correction that teacher has done.
having the strict correction, but the change in the syllabus of from and the writing style to 9.
Okay, chalo quickly. MCQs first,
Page number
page number 66. Chalo quickly, we don't have much time. Only 15 minutes left, so quickly solve the MCQs, then we will solve the question answers. Shaurya, you don't have that volume, right?
No, ma'am. I mean, to that we should
Usually are.
Sorry.
All of them. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Chalo quickly.
Ma'am, wait, ma'am.
Who came and sat on the log when the boys were
Bakhan.
Question number 2. Patik's mother had lost her husband
Bombay during his
while
business.
her brother was still in Bombay doing his business. Patik's aunt was displeased with his arrival because
She had seen the
son quite enough,
to
right?
manage.
So she had 3 sons quite enough to manage, suffocated in Calcutta houses and walls. Patik kept
All of
remembering
the above.
all of the above.
So-
One day at school, Patik lost
Lesson
his
Lesson 4.
There are too many questions. Now let us come to. Okay, one reference to the context question. Patik heard words and sobbed out
I
loud.
was need to read that again. I need to do it. One at the art said that.
Yes, okay, but read the rest of the content, the extract given. Uncle, I was just going home, but they dragged me back again. The
And
fever
that
was
is
very high, so first question, what had the aunt said when Patik heard and began to weep?
And who dragged him back?
Please,
Police.
So he was not going the right way.
he did not come back home, right? That's it.
So, but
That's why while coming back home, while he was coming back home, he will understand that he got fever. And he would be a greater nuisance for aunt. He did not want to trouble her aunt, his aunt anymore. So he wanted to go back home. He tried on his own. So he did not go home and why he did not return home. He informed the police, uncle informed the police, and the police somehow managed to find him and grabbed him, and they found him to be in a state of in high fever. High fever.
But it's
I don't know, ma'am, yes, because it is said.
And see, you think that the reactions of, or rather the way the cousins used to treat him was also correct?
So, ma'am.
no.
The cousins actually acted as a catalyst to this situation. They increased his frustration even more because they felt ashamed. They felt ashamed of him.
And who will be the catalyst? And this guy will be the promoter.
Who would be the promoter there?
Why will I yellow promoter? And catalyst.
And capitalists.
We are good in what place.
Okay, so the first one.
Who are they?
What had the aunt said that Patik heard and began to weep?
Who?
The aunt said that the aunt exclaimed that he had become a burden on her head, and when he listened to these words, Kartik began to weep because he just wanted to go home, and they forcefully dragged him back again.
Wait. So the question is, what made him weep?
And yeah, what a heap of trouble this boy has given us. I did you better send him home.
Yes, so wait, so the word is, the sentence is, you will come here.
101.
What a heap, yes, 101, you see the first paragraph, last line. When the when the aunt told that he was a heap of trouble and he should be better sent home. Okay, so he was a heap of trouble and he should be better sent home. So this direct speech, we are going to change it into indirect speech somewhat, and we will write this answer.
मैम आप आंसर मत बोलो हम देखा है
Right now, we are just already discussing.
हम देखना नहीं है
Of course, you will have to write.
हाँ मतलब बाद में
Okay, next one, who are they? Refer to in the second line.
They are the two police constables who had searched for.
And why not bring Pratik home? Why?
because Vishal has complained that he was not
Right, so he had not come back home from school and therefore December had complained to the police.
To search for her.
So write down the first two questions.
Now you discuss all and we'll
No,
write together.
first write
And
down.
we trust have us.
You write down the first two. Right? Write down the first two.
Write down that.
तो फिर पहली बार
Where are you going?
And look.
not good word be
That means doing clear science.
Hmm?
Am I doing
Yeah,
clear?
कभी नहीं ना करना ना ना
Sit down.
तब एक मार्क्स में रख दे बेटा भाई से पहले वो
You have to write it in the notebook.
First two questions quickly. Then we will discuss the next three and we will write. The, what is that? What are you discussing? No place to write, huh?
Party began to weep because he didn't wanted to become a burden on his aunt's. Who wanted to
पार्टी ने बिगेन टू बी वाला पार्टी नहीं
Ma'am, I wrote the aunt
And began to weep because
he did not want to be a burden.
he did not become a burden to his aunt.
Ma'am, you have to
And also his effort to go his hometown was also not successful. Tell me.
ma'am, you have to write it in that sentence.
Yes, indirect, yes. Just write it in indirect. Somewhat, it's not that each and every word needs to be.
Ma'am, I wrote that the aunt had exclaimed that what heap of trouble has this boy given us?
No. You will
Like
ask
that,
them.
yeah.
Given them.
Yes. No, write like this. The aunt was highly disappointed and exclaimed that
That can be,
Patik had given.
that can be right in the answer.
Ma'am, you can say.
You write in your own words, but it has to be written properly, with proper sentences. No need of writing WH word. See, what a heap of trouble is not required. You will write that the aunt was extremely discontented, or she was extremely unhappy, and exclaims that Patik had brought a heap of trouble to their family. Patik had brought heap of trouble.
What are the answer? So what are the answer with what a heap of trouble will come? Na? So that why the reason was like the aunt said that he was a heap of trouble.
Correct, that's what I said.
So we started listening to that we started.
Right, so that is what I told you, right? Like direct speech, but do not use WH. Okay, so his aunt explained that he was a heap of trouble and it would be better to send him home. After he listened to that, he said these words. Okay, right. On.
The aunt says that what will you put for this?
What a heap of trouble you will not write. What a that you will not use because you have to write in indirect speech. So the aunt said that he was, yes, he said that he was a heap of trouble to their family and it would be better to send him home. After he heard this, he uttered these words.
But the aunt had explained that Patik had brought a heap of
Yes,
trouble
that's
there.
Right.
And she was highly disappointed. Then and Patik began to weep because he didn't want to become a burden on him.
Okay, and also this one also needs to be written, right? That hadn't you better send him home? This part you missed out. So Fatih was a heap of trouble to their family and it would have been better to send him home. You have to write this, the whole thing. Both the points have to be there.
And then,
First two over, sure.
and इसका इधर लिखा हो कुछ.
First you go through your answer, then we will do it. No
I'm telling
and
you,
no
no.
punctuations and no ands. Punctuations.
That's all hands.
No ands, then you first give proper punctuations, please read it.
And do it. Do it. And इसका आधा पार्ट इधर लिखा है.
Referred spelling again wrong.
Whatever.
This is fine. Hadn't के बाद you have to write sent, right? SENT. Referred spelling. And then the home refers, if it is not here refers, put a comma and write refers, then that is the similar. Add from the range of. Release.
वो रखनी है. Wow.
Okay, good. But it's aunt. What is this? Aunt? It's be the first sentence. Second sentence is correct.
Nice.
Over, then we have to move to the next one.
I'm sad.
We have only 2 minutes.
But it was.
I'm trying to get it.
I used to have that kind
अरे सच्ची में मैथ्स की ग्रेड में पता ही नहीं चलता है.
Correct, good.
I'm normal. I used to every time during math period. Time विजिट करने में पता ही नहीं चला.
All subjects
Give
के
me
लिए
the pen. Azam pen.
अरे हाँ all subjects के लिए हाँ ये हिस्ट्री अगर मेरा मैम भी आ रही है वेनेडिक्ट मैम सिखा रही है
We are.
हाँ हिंदी सर वेनेडिक्ट मैम सिखा रही है
And draw.
वो एक्चुअली बात से इंग्लिश पढ़ा
इंग्लिश नहीं पढ़ा हिस्ट्री पढ़ा
पढ़ा ये बात तो मैं भी जानता हूँ उस पे लिखा था
हिस्ट्री में पढ़ा क्यों
अरे मेरे को भी मैंने ज्योग्राफी किया था उसको भी नहीं आ रहा तो बाद में ऐसा
बोला
मैं भी आता हूँ
What?
मैं मिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी के मैंने एनरोल किया था पर हो ही नहीं रहे लेक्चर्स
Okay, now the next one. Next
मैं
question.
बोली
Next question. Tears came in Vishwambar's eyes. Why? Why do you think tears came in Vishwambar's eyes?
मैम because मैम is
He felt sorry.
he felt sorry for the
breaking
finding
He felt embarrassed for the 14-year
But he felt sorry for the child because it was he had brought him under his responsibility
and he
and
felt the emotional situation of the child.
very good. Right.
I'm so Vishwambar was a good man.
He was a good man. What does it show about his character when he sits by him?
Ma'am, he was
Yes, he
caring.
was caring. He was kind. He was kind.
he was not like his wife
Yes.
Correct. Okay. He really loved his cousin. Not cousin, sorry. Nephew.
आपका सिचुएशन है तो अच्छा
हाँ कौन चिल्लाया
क्यों
Sorry, I want to see.
अरे क्या से देखा
But I put the answers and then. I have.
ऐसा होता है सिचुएशन वो सिखा
Right, we have put the answers, get it checked, then you go.
That's कल कौन आएगा
We will continue.
केमिस्ट्री के लिए कौन आएगा
We will continue this. Hello. We will continue this in the next class. We will write all the question answers. And then I will move on to the next chapter. Because we have four classes for model behavior.
और क्लासेस
Yeah. 4 classes is not required.
but it's very
So we will, yeah, so we will utilize it for this particular chapter.
अब ये क्लास का गलत वाला मॉडल पेशेंस
yes ma'am we have also
अब मैंने वो पढ़ा
Ma'am, can you do one thing? Can you take photo of this and send it on the YouTube group? Also, you can send out
ये भी है
This number later.
ये भी है but it is
You take the, you have your mobile.
ma'am but this is
I mean, he has a mobile, right? So you take the.
but we have the best
मैम वैसे रिकॉर्डिंग से देखते ना क्या हुआ रिकॉर्डिंग से
yes ma'am we have
Array, but see, here it is coming till not attractive, and there is one more point neglected. Here it is coming till recognition. There is one
but
more
याद
point.
तो रहेगा इतना ये सब भागना मत ठीक है छोड़
इसको सॉल्व नहीं है
तो भाई रिकॉर्डिंग करते हुए दिखता ही नहीं
भाई मेमोरी को मत करना फुल
तीन में से एक देख जो अच्छा लगे उसको रख लेना.
सर देना भाई मेमोरी को सही
Okay. Good.
हाँ, ये वाला मेरा नंबर सेव करके बैठूंगी. Then
it's not very much opportunity
मेरा नंबर लगा.
टाइम ही नहीं था मेरे को करना
So he felt embarrassed that he could not start his responsible tasks.
फिर लैंग्वेज
This
से
is
काम
actually
हुआ
a third question, I think.
रीडिंग
The
पढ़ा
question was carried, the constable, the police constable.
मैं बताइए ऐसा क्यों
And why? Because he had lodged a complaint, but he did not come back.
So दबा दे.
Okay, so we will continue it in the next class. Writing is very important, yes.
अब मेरे को लैंग्वेज से ज्यादा इसी जूलियस से क्यों लगता है
चलिए बा. लिख दे.
मैं लैंग्वेज को बचपन से समझ नहीं आता
Language, right?
मैं बता नहीं सकता
जूलियस सीजर बहुत इजी है तो प्रैक्टिकल में नहीं आ रहा है
इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज में मुझे 80 उनको पता नहीं है फिर 37
ये सीजर इसको बैक स्टोरी कोई समझ गया उसको सब और कोई अच्छा मेंटर भी होना चाहिए समझाने के लिए ऐसी हमारी
मैं उनको लग रहा है
मैम यार वेरी गुड मेंटर आपका जूलियस सीजर
Oh, thank you so much.
मैम आई टू
मैम, ऐसी है।
आल्सो
Yes ma'am.
Thank you, thanks.
मैं अमित सर से काम करना
Order today will not take much time, huh?
continue with our division in Julius Caesar.